as far as the regular season is, as at least is concerned. Of course, with the cycles. There's 8 cycles in total, so this being cycle 4. But boy, oh boy, are we excited. Again, 3 cycles down. Obviously, that means Sync Esports, yes, they have won all 3 so far. We've obviously had plenty of great matches. With that said, a lot of diversity with heroes, and things are continuing very, very, very strong here. The first round matchup that we're going to be covering here for cycle number 4 to get things kicked off is, of course, Reason Gaming versus Bad Monkey Gaming. 2 teams that are playing with somewhat new rosters as of more recently, specifically Reason Gaming, as we talked about, especially last cycle. So, of course, we'll get all into that. But boy, oh boy, do we have a lot ahead of us. And again, really, really excited. Hopefully you guys are as well. With that said, as always, joined by the one and only Mini Maggot here. Mini, how's it going?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Just before we get started, though, I do have a little bit of a cold, a bit of a sore throat, so if I'm letting you down break here, I apologise. But you'll be able to carry me, don't worry.
As usual, yes, both in-game and whatnot. Yeah, no. You sound fine to me, so as long as it's good on your end of me.
Okay, we're good. Yeah,
I think
I'm good,
we're
man.
good then. No, but obviously we're getting things kicked off here again with our first round matchup real quickly before we get too much into the draft here. Again, showing you guys the brackets of what we're dealing with. Boy, oh boy, is this a crazy bracket. Of course, at the top portion, we got Sync versus newcomers Prime Icarus. You know, expecting Sync there, but we'll see what they can do against them. Night Raid versus Nullstone. Night Raid, a.k.a. The Last of Us, changing up their name, though. You know, it was tough for me, I'm not going to lie. We were deciding which matchup to cover. We had to pass up on the North American versus North American. Rare we get that, but Bad Monkey versus Reason, you know, we had to go with this one in the end. Willowkeeper versus Dawn, of course, the other matchup in the top portion of the lower part of the bracket. So as you see right there, I mean, all 4 matchups, of course, potential to be great, great series. But this is the one that we're decided to cover, and I think for good reason here, Minnie.
I mean, I think this is just the star factor. I mean, we talk about how in diamond matches there's not an easy game, and there's always great games regardless of what kind of round it is, and this is definitely the best round matchup for the early matches. I mean, it's just because it's 2 great teams. I mean, like, obviously they have had kind of new rosters, but they have been trying a lot harder. I saw BMG screaming over the week, like going really hard for it, and Reason, they've been screaming every single day. I think their scrim partner is actually Tree, and they've been sort of screaming every single day, relentless training actually. And hopefully we'll get to see if it's going to pay off or not, really.
Yeah, so obviously we are advancing things on here as far as the draft is concerned, so let's take a closer look and see what's happening here. But yeah, Reason Gaming especially excited to see what they bring to the table here as far as they're concerned. So with that said, you know what, my sound actually, I'm not getting any sound right now. I might need to do a restart here on my end after we get the draft finished here. That's right. I got to restart my client. I apologize. But anyways, I'll take care of that after this. But yeah, so draft is advancing a lot. You see Keeper of the Forest coming out there for Reason Gaming. And look at the lineup that they already have with the Tempest especially and the Glacius and Bubbles on top of that. So yeah, we have seen this recently. More so I believe that was Sync that actually ran it. Kind of the old school there of the Keeper Tempest combo. And boy, oh boy, it proved to work very well once again. So it's not like it's bad nowadays by any means. You know, maybe not as strong as it used to be, but still, it's annoying as hell to go up against. So you can clearly see what Reason Gaming is going for as far as a strategy. A lot of team push, especially earlier on in the game. Now, BMG's lineup, as they usually draft, I mean, a lot more about the ganking presence with that said. A lot more about that. I mean, how do you think this draft is matching up, though?
Yeah, I mean, we used to obviously the Keeper Tempest, like, it was once like a god combo, like back in the day of like Stay Green, and I think you said Zing have been playing it recently. I think they've been playing the Keeper Ophelia, which are a lot more a lot more push, and I mean, the team fight is still there, but with Tempest Keeper, the team fight potential is just absurd. They're 2 insanely powerful always, and then put them together, they're almost unbeatable in terms of team fight potential. In terms of BMG here, they've gone for, like you said before, quite a reasonable and quite a normal draft for them, and so they have to find a different angle to sort of attack here Reason, because once Reason pick up their Astrolabe, their sort of core items, and they're just going to group as 5 and then sort of take the game from there, and BMG either have to sort of delay them or try and get ahead of them before that even happens, because once this ball gets rolling here from Reason, I don't know if anyone is going to be able to stop it. So. Yeah,
obviously very, very tough. And how about that Rhapsody coming out this late in the draft? That is something, man. That is really something. Seeing Rhapsody now. It's at the same time, obviously the podcast, this is one of the things that I happened to bring up was cycle number 3. How Rhapsody's win percentage actually was a lot less than it's been previously. Yeah. I mean, I think it was at 8-14 overall, if I'm not mistaken. So you can see that win percentage just definitely dropped. It's still pretty positive in the end, but 4th pick here, even after the second tier of bans, is that shocking to you, even despite those stats?
Well, It's because actually Bubbles is picked up here from Reason, and Bubbles is kind of a strong counter against Rapsy, because obviously he's got the kelp food and the Song of the Sea to easily, lock down Rapsy. And seeing as obviously he's got the mobility from the shell stuff as well, like even if he doesn't have the portal key, he can shut down Rapsy's protected melody regardless of whether he's got good farm or not. So in that respect, Rapsy being picked up in this late of the draft, yeah, it's a little bit surprising, but at the same time, obviously BMG had all their core heroes before they sort of went into the second picking phase, and Reason probably didn't think they were going to pick up because they picked up the Bubbles and the Moon Queen. Man, this gives me some bad memories back with Stay Green, where they just run this almost every single game and would just win because of the team fight potential. It's just too strong. Like, you top 10% keeper ultimates with like a Moon Queen Moon finale, and it almost feels unbeatable. And it has the sort of somewhat late game potential as well. So even if they they don't snowball and get racks early on, they still have that Moon Queen factor sort of fall back on as well if they need it. But
yeah.
BMG do follow up with Tundra themselves. It's a good hero, particularly against Tempest. Like, they obviously need some kind of lockdown for Tempest. Obviously they got the Parasite as well, but you can't always have one person just locking down the Tempest. Like, if Parasite gets caught, it's always nice to have like a second person to sort of be able to stop the Tempest with Strong and Head, for example. So
yeah.
But the game is underway.
It is. I'm actually in the process of restarting right here, so I'll be obviously joining right back in. And by the time I am, I'm sure we'll be getting things started, maybe even with a pause. Who knows? But again, here, obviously, BMG versus Reason Gaming. Here we go. Reason Gaming, I think we've been talking about it, and there's been a lot of talk about this team specifically, how they are by far the most active team right now. I mean, they were scrimming like crazy, apparently, this whole week when it came down to it. And obviously, you expect and hope that would show here. And what is going to be kicking off, of course, with game number 1 of BMG versus Reason Gaming. But, hell, they're even at a place where they're apparently looking to pay a caster. I don't even know if they've gotten that yet, but actually pay a caster scrims and whatnot through their own winnings there. So, I mean, they're getting really dedicated right now, to say the least.
Exactly. Yeah, they were talking to me about it with our take on the casting position. I'm not in a position to really be able to do it yet. I mean, I was thinking about it. I don't know if they found a caster yet or not. But yeah, like you said, they've been casting like 24/7. Sorry, they've been scrimming 24/7, and I mean, it feels like the passion and the sort of the drive is back there for Reason Gaming. We always talked about how Reason were, they're a decent team. They get 4th or 5th pick, and they've always been sort of stable. But for this time, it almost feels like they're gunning for the 1 and 2 spot nowadays.
Oh yeah.
And with the amount of practice they put in, I mean, they could definitely do it. They've got obviously the old strong players of Nier and Embre back now actually as well. So, I mean, anything could happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. TPS Priceless, he's been around the scene for a long, long time, and he's kind of stepping in as that captain role here for Reason Gaming as well. So, yeah, definitely some changes happening, but for their sake, I'm sure for the better. It seemed like before, getting rid of a player like Probusk, you got to question that. I mean, his individual skill, Probusk is honestly one of the better players in the scene right now. But again, if it's not working out, if it's just the chemistry's not there, then it is best to move on. There is no doubt about that, and that's exactly what Reason Gaming did, despite it being a great player. I guess the chemistry just wasn't there. But even Probusk was saying, though, again, before the last cycle, and I'm sure especially going to this one, that this is definitely going to be a team to really watch out for. But speaking of Probusk, of course, he's now with Dawn, who obviously qualified for Diamond, and actually they're facing off against Willowkeeper in their first-round matchup. So, again, we're going to really be keeping a close eye on these other matches, of course, to see how they play out. And I believe at least one of the other matches is being covered. It looks like Lash is actually going to be covering Sync versus Prime Icarus, so of course, you can check that out if you were especially interested in Sync. Of course, I'm sure there's a lot of fans out there, as well as Prime Icarus being one of the newcomers, of course, to Diamond Division this time around. And possibly one of the other matches may be covered as well as soon as things get taken care of. So, definitely I'll keep you guys updated, of course, when and if they are going to be covered. But again, at the very least, we will be keeping an eye on results. And, of course, getting you guys updated. But, as always, man, it's good to be back here. We had the weekend break and everything, but it's good to be back, ready to cast some more Heroes of Newerth here.
Yeah, man, I feel at home when I'm casting. Honestly, like the last week when we had it up, I was like, what do I do with my time?
I know, right?
Like, there was something to do but cast. But yeah, I am very glad we're back, to be fair. It just feels right. But going over the draft, though, here, I mean, we talked about it a little bit before, but, I mean, BMG, it feels strange, though, because, like, they've got, obviously, you got Legion here, like complete team fight and sort of push as well. So they're going to do that Moon Queen factor as well to sort of fall back on if they need some kind of carry potential. But with BMG, it feels like they have almost a split strategy in mind. Obviously, they do have some good gank potential. That's clearly evident. But they have some good team fight as well. They got Magnus and they've got Rhapsody. But I mean, against the sort of strategy Reason running, I'm surprised they didn't sort of opt for more of a sort of split push. You know, like pick up maybe the Silhouette. I know Doctor was picked up in the third picking stage, but I mean, Reason Gaming, they have no gank potential. So in that sense, they have to group as 5. So you got to try and exploit that and use it against them. Because at the moment, like, it almost feels like they're going to try and get advantage in the lanes. They're going to try and get early ganks and get ahead before the snowball and the death ball comes out from Reason, and then take a team fight from there. Which is it's a fine strategy to have, but with such a strong team fight coming from Reason, their BMG will have to have quite a sizable lead here in terms of the laning phase. Maybe 5 kills, maybe 6, 7 kills by the 10 minutes before Reason start the snowball, and then maybe they can start team fighting. Because Reason Gaming, I mean, Tempest Keeper, it's almost infamous just because of that. So BMG do have to be quite careful in that respect.
I see right there, Glacius. Placement word aside, and even Super KG saying hello in old chat right there. But no, you didn't see anything. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, that word's probably going to be countered. I'm sure as soon as possible. She's probably realizing right off the bat, like, okay, yeah, that maybe a little bit of a mistake right there. But what's done is done, and he sure enough is heading back towards the bottom lane. It looks like where he's very likely going to end up, of course, babysitting the Moon Queen down here. But yeah, so what you're talking about, the timetable definitely going to be keeping a close eye on that. And, I will say Zane playing this Keeper of the Forest, Suicide Keeper, again, it's been a while since he's been really a staple on the scene like he definitely was before. But Zane is definitely known as being one of those quiet but very, very powerful Keeper players in the Suicide role.
Yeah, definitely.
Again, definitely changes to the hero somewhat, but still very powerful. And they also use this in honor of Stay Green, of course. The Keeper of the Green, I guess, is the technical name for it. So, anyways, expecting him to have a pretty good time. He's going up here against Dr. Repulsor. Obviously, Doctor, a great solo here, especially in that short lane. But as you see right off the bat, as you would expect, using those tree dogs of his to do the pull and being of annoyance. So, yeah, I'm expecting Zane to do actually a pretty solid job up here. In the middle lane, they decide to send, of course, the Bubbles mid. And you see off the bat Rhapsody applying a good amount of pressure to him. Already getting him to half-life. But, I mean, the lanes are definitely set up in areas of, pretty obvious what you ultimately would expect for each of the lanes, definitely. I would think. Nothing too crazy here. Yeah,
I mean, Reason have no way to really dual lane unless they want to dual lane with a Moon Queen Glacius, and that's just too risky. Like, if you lose that middle lane, then you have no kind of carry potential. And at the same time, obviously, if you're going to be facing against a Suicide Tundra, and he can be quite easily to be boxed out here, but he has actually gone the level 1 boots, and this is something that I really rarely see Suicide players do, particularly when they go against 1v2. They always normally pick maybe the Iron Shield up, or the Buckler and some more regen and some branches. But in this case, he's actually gone boots first, and I think this is the best course of action, because almost when you pick up an early marches from this, almost any hero can be turned into a Suicide hero. And obviously Tundra doesn't really have that escape mechanism. He does have the Shiver, which I actually was watching him. He was blocking a lot of Tempest's spawns actually as well. So in that respect, having some kind of impact, even if he's not getting any kind of XP or gold in this bottom lane here as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so you see him sending out that Shiver once again. Oh, I'm going to be cut off, though, by Glacius. Glacius doing a pretty good job. TPS Priceless right there, making sure that Zime's not going to have free reign by any means of using that as you're kind of pointing out right there. So as far as action goes, again, not expecting the most earlier on. You got a Parasite, sure, but it's a Keeper of the Forest up here. Not the easiest target to gank. Maybe unless they get some dust. Wouldn't be out of the question. But double Damager is going to be picked up here by Rhapsody with that said. And is coming back towards the middle lane. So if they perhaps catch Embry out of position, maybe using the shelter for farming purposes, I doubt he's going to do that. But if so, I mean, maybe no, they're not going to go in right there. Not worth it. Again, Tundra taking some good harassment, but going to be fun in the end. So, yeah, I'm not really expecting a kill early on. Maybe unless, again, maybe Tempest sets up a gank, but Zeme, of course, should be aware of his surroundings, especially with that Shiver being used right here.
But yeah, I mean, one thing to note though is that Parasite actually did go in his own jungle, and actually, support actually takes down Embrace. So that DD and the stun from Magnus is definitely enough to bring down Bubbles, and he hasn't actually picked up a lot of regen. He's got actually the normal 1v1 sort of items instead of a 1v2, so he hasn't got the greatest amount of strength hit points here. So he is going to fall though, so that's quite a big deal. That's going to help actually Super KG get his portal key a lot earlier, and so when he can get that portal key, then expect that maybe the BMG rotations a lot more ganking coming from there. Because other than that, really, the the Parasite is the only person that can really sort of rotate and start making these ganks happen. And as I was going to say before, Parasite going actually into his own jungle to start with is maybe a little bit questionable, because obviously there's no way Parasite can really get blocked. I mean, he can get harassed out from Glaciers, but at the same time he's going to have quite a big impact. And at the moment he's just going to farm up, which is fine at the same time. Maybe he's going to get level 6. It's got some good farm already, and then start rotating up. But that first solo kill though is definitely important for BMG.
Yeah. So obviously, Bloodlust kill in favor of Bad Monkey Gaming, and definitely the start that they're looking for. Super KG, nearly 300 gold per minute right now, picking up the assist, but sure, support getting that Bloodlust kill. You see right there, he gets boots, and actually the Ion Stone delivered. So this is that support style. He loves the Ion Stone. I still can't believe we're saying that. He's the only one that happens to pick this up. Yeah. But he picks it up every game. He makes it work, and kind of scratch your head at why others may not be following suit. But hey, not afraid to be different. And, he does the math, and what works for him, he's going to stick with. You got to respect that. So, speaking of that, he's going to actually use it on the regen rune top, as the bottom rune, being haste, is picked up by Magnus right here in the bottle. So, again, Bubble's going to need to be pretty careful right here. I'm seeing the Super KG. No, he's not going to go elsewhere, at least for the time being. Just simply going back to the middle lane, going to continue to farm. But as far as overall farm goes, you do see Dr. Repulsor, even despite Keeper of the Forest being up here, harassing Hero that he can be, especially with the pulls. Haxor's still managing a very good time, man. I mean, we're looking at nearly 370 gold per minute, 29-4. That's got to be up there. Moon Queen, with that said, Imba Boy, 29-22. So, holy crap. Both of these short lane farmers, I think it's safe to say, are having a pretty damn good time here. In the top lane, though, yeah, Keeper of the Forest in some trouble right now. Haste and Magnus, that's a Haste and Rhapsody, excuse me, coming in. Not even necessary, though. Haxor gets credit for the kill. So his GPM going to go up even more. But, yeah, I was expecting, maybe with some dust. Sure enough, they get dust, and guess what? They get the kill.
Yeah, and this obviously Parasite got level 6, and so the gank started rotation middle lane as well. Bubbles going to take a lot of damage. I don't think he's going to die here, or he might, though.
Yep, Shell Surf down.
Oh,
they know it. Yep.
Wow, Shell Surf was down.
Yeah, it sure was. They used it for farm, getting greedy, and you can't do that, obviously, in a 2v1. I mean, you can, but it's very risky, and that's obviously shown right there. So BMG really started off strong here, 3-0. That's not good news for Reason, because if anything, they wanted a solid start and then transition, as you're pointing out, the kind of the timetable they're really starting to push. It's not looking good for Reason as far as the start's concerned.
Yeah, and the worst thing for Reason, though, is that with this lineup, they can't go behind, because they have no way of, they have no kind of mechanism to sort of get back in the game. They can't really gank, because the only really ganking hero is sort of Bubbles, and he can't do much by himself. And seeing as BMG, they've got a lot of mobile heroes, there's no way of really sort of locking him down unless they get maybe the portal key on Tempest and Keeper Forest, but that's a long time away. So, there's no kind of way to instantly get back in the game for Reason, which is slightly worrying. Obviously, they do have the great teamfight potential, but if they get a little bit too far behind before, actually, they're going to take some fight down here in the bottom rune, but most likely that's going to be it. Rhapsody might going to fall, though. He will, so at least that's a start. But, yeah, I mean, one kill was obviously good, but at the same time, it's still going to be hard for them to get back into the game, because they don't have the greatest mechanisms to start getting those kills and then sort of snowball from there. But when they do get their core items, that's when they start getting scary. So if BMG can delay him till then BMG are still in a good position at the same time as well.
Yeah. Now, just a quick heads up, guys. It looks like at least a couple of other series are being covered. It's talked about Lash covering the Sync versus PI series. I believe Dawn versus Willowkeeper is also being covered by a couple. I don't have the actual Twitch stream on me just yet, but if you go to the Heroes Newer section on Twitch, you can actually check it out, and you can perhaps look to watch that series. As well, it looks like That guy, yeah, Quincy typed it out. There you go. That guy right there. So anyways, again, we're doing our best. We know that there's all these grid series here to get some coverage amongst the ranks as far as community casters go. So yeah, again, check it out if you're interested. But again, back to this one though. Bottom tower going down right there. Obviously, Imba Boy leading the push. You did see Tundra there, attempting it perhaps, as well as Rhapsody maybe denying, but obviously unsuccessful. And the push is going to continue for now. I mean, Tempest still here, spawn some more minions, in fact. Those are level 4 elementals. Yeah, definitely level 4 elementals coming out. So a lot of push presence with Tempest, especially here. And Moon Queen's like, you know what? If you want to fight us, feel free to, but we're feeling comfortable right now. I mean, Tundra's going to be out of mana, actually, currently. Okay, yeah, they are going to ultimately fall back in the end. And actually, they're pointing at the top lane because the dive is real. Keeper of the Forest going to stay alive. He didn't root, though. A little curious about that. I mean, sure, Catman champion with Parasite, he could have just gone out of it, but maybe could have got Doctor right there. The middle lane, wow. Yeah, I was watching the top lane. Sure enough, middle lane, Kelfield used, and down goes Magnus. So definitely some revenge there for Bubbles after his slow start.
That's such a, he's 1v2, he obviously at the start he was 1v2, I mean, wow, like, I can't believe that actually happened. I mean, at the same time, I mean, oh, and then another Q actually. So, man, these big pickoffs are coming from Reason. I was talking about how they're going to have trouble actually getting these kills and finding their way back to get into this game. But I mean, maybe a few misplays here and there has definitely brought Reason back into the game. And now this is where BMG are in maybe a little bit of a scary situation because you got the Whispering Helm on Moon Queen now. You got the Ring of Sorcery on Tempest. Expect that the Astrolabes come out as well. Magnus is very, very far away from his portal key. So I mean, unless BMG maybe start doing something, I mean, they've got the levels from Reason to start going to 5 and. At the moment, BMG have no way to sort of answer that.
Yeah, Magnus going in right here, but Bubble's actually just going to silence C, prevent any follow-up perhaps from happening. Glacius, in fact, running in. They're really kind of charging here. I'm not sure what Glacius was expecting. In fact, now he's going to get turned on. And Glacius going to fall. So, yeah, that was a little reckless. I mean, there was no Kel field up for Bubbles. I wonder if that was miscommunicated or something like there, because it's almost like he was charging as if that was going to be the case. But anyways, he goes down, so BMG taking kind of a free kill right there. And now going to pressure a little bit on the tower. Again, keeping the force. He still has his fruit as of not using it earlier. But they're going to fall back before any outright initiation does take place. Look at the bottom lane. Look at this ward of sight here. Tundra thinks he's being sneaky. Not so much. I mean, Mooncreed has a very good idea that he knows exactly where he is. And definitely saw that Shiver even being spawned, so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Tempest is going to expect it here. As, yeah, it's kind of flying around looking to maybe be of use as far as vision, block some camps even, but again, Tundra doing what he can with the start that he has. Obviously, being in that very difficult suicide lane, understandable. But yeah, Doctor coming in, but are they going to go for something? I don't know.
Yeah, they're trying to bait with Moon Queen. Like you see Tempest and Glacius behind him, but yeah, BMG is going to rotate over instead. But those little mind games you don't really pick up as a caster. But you saw Reason they were definitely trying to bait Moon Queen. Tempest actually TP'd into the bottom lane, and obviously they saw the wall of sight. They saw Doctor with the wall of sight that had bottom lane. So even though that that didn't even happen, that was actually quite a good play count from Reason. Now they're just going to keep on pushing in. Although Tundra is level 6 though, and if they do get some rotations from BMG, this could be quite dangerous actually from Reason Gaming.
Yeah. Bottom lane, Moon Queen definitely pushing it in pretty hard right here once again, but more boards coming in. Again, Rhapsody in fact coming in, and maybe it was Tundra. But anyway, somebody comes in and we'll hold them off initially for now, but here comes Keeper. So this push is definitely going to be happening right here. Wait for the next creep wave perhaps, and then go all out. Tempest Elementals, you got Keeper Dogs. Definitely going to bring a lot of that push. So top tower is taken out by Doctor and Parasite out here, but Reason Gaming not too concerned about that. But look at Magnus. They do not have any vision on them here on the Legion side to spot this Invis Magnus. So this could be a good setup here for Bad Monkey Gaming. We'll see if it works out in the end. He is ready to go with a good channel of interruption. There we go. Gonna be going up. Ports are coming and will to get close enough. He gets Moon Queen a little bit right there, but not the most damage. And now Bubbles actually going in. Kelfoot's going to be thrown out onto Magnus. There's a Moonbeam. The follow-up song of the city. Super KG can't do anything about it, and he goes down. The team support just wasn't really there. Doctor did not, or excuse me, Parasite did not port in. And that'll be that. So kind of a sloppy execution, really.
Definitely. I mean, he didn't actually hit the stun on Moon Queen either, and that could have definitely been the start of something there for Reason. But like I said, they've got kind of their core items down on Reason now. They're just going to sort of death ball down all the sort of tier 1s and the tier 2s. They've got Astrolabe on Tempest, obviously the helm of Whispering Helm on Moon Queen, and Bubbles is closing in on that portal key as well. And BMG, like you saw that the team fight, unless everything clicks, they just don't really have much going for them. Actually, been lane though. Yeah,
Dr. Chasehead puts on the initiation on a Tempest. Glacius here to freeze though. Will it be enough to save? Yes, absolutely. With that Astrolabe heal, more than enough. So you see Near start right there with his farm. Has obviously not only the Ring of the Sorcery, but the Astrolabe on top of that. I believe I just saw Energizer purchased as well by Moon Queen actually. Going to be coming out right here. A lot of team fight going. So even with the Whispering Helm first, but getting the Energizer now. And going to start pushing the middle with it. So, yeah, usually would expect that first, if anything. But I think, again, maybe it's because of how this push is starting to happen here. And Bavoy deciding it's going to get one of these here to help with the added early on stats, as well as, of course, the very powerful use of it on top of that. So this middle tower, it's definitely going to drop. BMG, understandably, not going to put up any kind of defense. So where do you think, because it feels like right now, Reason Gaming has actually then counter push the top tower. So that's pretty good news right there.
Yeah, they need to counter push. Like I said before, Reason's Gaming's team fight is just too strong. They can't really defend it. The only thing they should probably be defending is probably their racks and their tier 3s at the moment. Unless Magnus gets a portal key. Once Magnus gets a portal key, the initiation and the team fight here from BMG goes incredibly increased, actually, just because of the initiation. You saw in the bottom tier 2, like, if he has a portal key, that's like a 3 or 4 man stun, and that can be enough just to win the team fight single-handedly for BMG. But until that portal key on Magnus is there, they really should just be focused on split pushing, focusing on farming the other lanes, and trying to slow down Reason. I would have probably Tundra and Rhapsody sort of sitting back, trying to delay as much as possible, because, you know, with the piercing shards and the Disco Inferno, they can slow it down quite a bit. And, you know, while you have like Magnus and Doctor Repulse and even Parasite on the other lanes, trying to split push as much as possible.
Yeah.
And then try and, you know, take the tier 1s, because they need the gold. They need that portal key from Magnus. It's about 600 gold away, and yet they are trying to defend here, and this could be a little bit dangerous here from BMG.
Yeah, you do see the push again happening. So BMG again, it's that place of, oh man, we wanted to defend. I mean, this is another secondary tower, not even 15 minutes into this game. But can you really risk putting the defense into it is basically where it's at. So they say, no, we can't really. Support's playing that pretty policy, honestly, level 6.
Yeah, well,
Rhapsody, but
they don't really have catch potential, so you can be that far up. Like, if that was Reason doing it to be, sorry, if that was BMG doing that to Reason, like, then they could jump on Reason because of the Doctor Repulsor. But without a portal key on either Tempest Keeper or Bubbles, like, Rhapsody can be that far up because he's in really no danger because they've got no catch potential in that respect. So.
Able to do so.
Yeah, and you saw the sort of BMG what they were doing. That's what I was trying to say. They had Tundra and Rhapsody just sitting back while you had Magnus in the bottom lane and Doctor in the top lane. So they're sort of starting to try and go for that strategy now. And actually, if you can see, actually, top lane, Keeper might be in trouble, actually. Parasite's coming in as well.
There's the face hug, and definitely the kill on top of that. So yeah, Dr. Pulsar coming over right here from the observatory area. And Keeper obviously was not expecting that whatsoever. So good cutoff there from Bad Monkey Gaming. And again, they definitely are. So you look at the big stats, and despite 4 tower kills, they're only down 1,400 gold and they're up in experience. So actually really not the worst spot for BMG.
And that's because, like, Reason Gaming, they need these team fights to happen so they can get their golden experience. Yeah, Towers is fine, but if you see, like, they're not running like Ophelia or Wolbeast. That's not really, that's the strong push. This is more of a strong team fight. Yes, they have some kind of push potential with it, but they need those kills from their team fights to, you know, to get their golden experience. And they've only got 4, which they got, you know, for a few ganks and stuff. And the towers, they don't offer too much gold, and obviously they don't offer any experience, so they are getting out-leveled because of this sort of group as 5 and push as a result. Magnus actually's got his portal key now, so maybe if BMG do want to defend, they can now as well. So
yeah. So deny on the tower right there, well played by Imboy and for the likes of Reason Gaming. I mean, you do see that GPM Moonquin is remaining on top overall, and that's always a dangerous thing. 428 gold per minute. Definitely showing for that. In fact, what's being delivered here? Okay, the Quick Blade coming out. So well on his way to the Firebrand, and of course, eventually that Geometer's Bane going to be happening here for Moon Queen. So off to that very, very good start. Now it kind of curious, actually, because going the Geometer's Bane route, I'm wondering what you think about that as well, because, you know, in this case, we could possibly see the Shrunken Head follow up, and there's a lot of possible fights coming out, a lot of gank potentially on the Hellborn side. Do you think Shrunken Head might have been the safer, better option, or Geometer's Bane fine?
Well, I mean, I can't really say that, because if I say, oh yeah, you should have picked up the Shrunken Head, then they start, you know, sort of, you know, falling back and starting to farm. I think it depends on what kind of strategy Reason here. If they're going to go all in push, then pick up the Shrunken Head. It makes the most sense. But as you can see, Bubbles actually picked up an Alchemist Bones as well, maybe because that's against the Parasite, but it is still a little bit of a farm. Actually, talking of Bubbles, Tundra.
Yeah, can it get out? It looks like it, just not enough damage and no stun follow-up.
Pick up a portal key there, and that's most likely a death on Tundra. But he has picked up the Alchemist Bones, mostly just a counter of Parasite. But as you can see, they've still got some kind of, you know, backup potential with the Moon Queen, and obviously now the farming potential of Bubbles because of the Alchemist Bones as well. So, I mean, if you're talking about straight on team fight, then the Shrunken Head would definitely make the most sense. I remember when sort of Stray Green was still in the area, when they pick up the Moon Queen, they'd actually go straight Shrunken Head. They'd actually miss the Whispering Helm. Jesse would pick up the Shrunken Head straight away because, you know, Stray Green would just push his 5 at like 10, 12 minutes, and that's what they need to be. But in terms of this case, Reason maybe are just saying, okay, maybe we can't just push this 5, maybe we need a little bit of backup from Moon Queen. So in this respect, it's going to increase her farming a little bit more, but at the same time, obviously, their team fight is going to be reduced just for the next sort of 10-15 minutes before she's picked up the Shrunken Head in the next start.
So we see here Moon Queen just finishing off the last Ancient, but yeah, these Alchbones pickup, man, I mean, I guess this is becoming more and more of a trend, because this has to be the 3rd or 4th player we've seen do this now. Again, against the Parasite, as we talked about. Yes, it's understandable, it makes sense, there is the logic there, but like I said, when I talked to Zlapt, you know, one of the best Parasite players in the world, as far as Han's concerned, definitely, he said himself he's not overly too concerned going up against it. He doesn't think, he's not too worried because, you know, they're spending 1,900 gold to do that. You know, if they really want to do that just to simply destroy one of its puzzle box minions, then so be it. But, you know, as you see right there, they actually jump Glacius, get a free kill. Keeper the Force coming in. Tempest as well. They do stun Magnus. He's going to maybe use an ultimate to try to secure something. Yes, he is. There's the Tempest ultimate. There is still support kind of nearby, but not enough. No root necessary because of that extra follow-up. So actually, they do get a counter kill on the Magnus. But again, it did take a Tempest ultimate, so that's going to be on cooldown now for 180 seconds, and obviously BMG knows that here.
And I mean, I think if they have a portal key on Bubbles there, that's going to be a guarantee kill on Magnus regardless. And they have to actually use and compete the Tempest ultimate because they don't have any mobility from the Bubbles. Like maybe, you know, the Alchemist Bones is a good pickup, but at the same time, without that portal key from Bubbles, they don't really have any kind of catch potential, and so they're forced to use these big ultimates. And the next team fight, I mean, okay, yeah, Keeper and Moonqueen have still got their ultimates, but without Tempest as well, their team fight from recent is a lot lower. And so BMG have like a 2-minute window here if they want to defend. I mean, all tier 2s will be down, so maybe Reason are just going to sort of back off and wait for the Tempest almost be up before they push base. But BMG have definitely got something to think about.
Yeah. So pushing that top tower, then that is the last outer tower, obviously officially going down in favor of Reason Gaming right there. And you do see now, actually, so Firebrand picked up here by Moonqueen, but also actually just buying the Warhammer, if I'm not mistaken. So on his way to going the Shrunken Head follow-up now, so just getting the Firebrand for the offensive purpose, a little bit of extra farm perhaps, a little damage output, of course. Not going to go to the Geometer's Bane, though, just yet. It kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier. How you can justify, or what you want to justify here as well, what he should be, feels like going in Immoboy. Again, a lot of fight potential definitely to be had. And but at the same time, I mean, with all the outer towers down now, I don't know if Recent Game is going to try to bake into the base just yet here. I would think maybe a little bit longer before we should expect that to happen, of course. But Barrier out also in the works, by the way, for Nier playing the Tempest, as he has a full Shaman's Headdress. So no Shrunken Head or even Portal Key pickup going to be coming out for him at this time being right here. You do see, again, the golden experience, though, remaining to be pretty even, especially as far as where it stands. In fact, the experience going even slightly more up in favor of the Hellborn side. And as you see right there, Quincy even pointing out lack of experience. And that's the thing with push kind of team push lineups, though. It's understandable, again, it's just how logic works right there. If they're going to be grouped up doing some team push. And as I say that, though, Bubbles gets caught. He throws the Kelfield. He does have kind of team support coming in, but Rhapsody's like, hanging on, and finally we'll get away as the Kelfield wears off. So, going to be fine at the end. But yeah, with the experience, it's just naturally going to be that case because they're all clumped up, you know, sharing the experience, unlike the other team is doing a lot of split pushing and getting that individual experience. So, really, I mean, it's hard to say which team is on. I don't think either team's on top right now. I mean, it really just comes down to which team's going to get that catch, which team's going to get the better team fight, the better initiation, especially in the end here. Now, I will say, Haxorn going the Grimoire. This always seems like it's one of those debatable items on a Doctor Repulsor, if that's the best choice. What do you think here?
I mean, if you said this to me 5 minutes ago, I would have said no, but as you can sort of tell, the pace of the game has sort of slowed down a little bit, and this Grimoire is going to be useful in terms of farming as much as possible, and it's still going to be useful in terms of ganking and team fighting because of that increased damage or magic damage he gets, the 15% all damage done by the hero because of the Grimoire. I mean, he's going to pick up the Shrunken Head next, which is definitely needed. Like, he needs Shrunken Heads against this team. And I think it's actually going to pay off, actually. I was thinking maybe he should rush the Hex. I know it sounds a little bit strange, but I thought the Grimoire would have been too greedy of a pick-off because I thought, Reason we're going to go high ground before 20 minutes. They haven't actually at the moment. And at the moment, I think it's going to be the right pick-up. So I guess Haxorn has actually picked the right choice at this time.
Yeah. All right, so going for that here. Again, the Shrunken Head follow-up for Doctor. It's kind of that Wretched Hack style, really, in the end. As we've had that discussion, so I guess don't need to keep on having it, but we'll see how it works out for Haxorn right here. In the end, the Portal Key on Tundra, of course, very big. He also has another 1,600 gold saved up here, so he's managing some decent farm, actually.
Oh, Tempest.
Catch down here. Tempest is going to get caught again. He has that Shaman's Headdress, but just look at that damage, man. I mean, with Parasite, the level 3 Puzzle Box, and especially Doctor, and his amp damage because of that Grimoire again. Tempest, he's tanky, but clearly not even close to tanky enough right there. At that point, middle lane, actually, they're going to go for a jump on a Magnus, looking for a counter kill. Rhapsody is nearby, has Protective Melody, it comes out right there. No route to cancel, it's finally going to be used, but a lot of damage already mitigated. Not enough to save Super KGE, though, so route, again, is used. And so I guess that's, if anything, where Rhapsody did come into play. They forced him to use that, but still, Magnus dead.
I think BMG actually going to be kind of happy with that because, like, with Keeper Forest Ultimate down and as well as Kelpfield from Bubbles, they can't push high ground. So, as long as BMG sort of can delay the push before they get maybe the Shrunken Head on Doctor Repulsor and maybe another item on Tundra or Parasite, and then I think they're going to be fine. But one thing I was going to note before they actually picked off Tempest in the jungle is that, I mean, BMG at the moment they're just going to try and delay as much as possible because they aren't really in the best sort of situation to sort of take a team fight. But at the same time, when are they going to be in a position to sort of take a team fight? Because Freezing Game, they do have that late game factor as well with the Moon Queen. Like, I think she's picking up a Shrunken Head in the next couple of minutes, and with the team fight from the Tempest and the Keeper of the Forest, they've got obviously the right click damage from Moon Queen. I mean, if BMG take this late, they're still going to be in a little bit of trouble, honestly, which is a little bit scary because the only sort of strategy they have going against that is, or the only advantage they have is that they've got the better pick-off potential, but I don't know if they have the better late-game potential, and they definitely don't have the team-fight potential. So they're going to look to maybe sneak Kongo here if they can. That would be a big advantage that they need to take. They are ahead in terms of 3,000 experience, but at 23 minutes in, it's not the biggest factors.
Yeah. See, Tundra's kind of just chilling there for now with Rhapsody, not committing to anything just yet here, obviously. But you do got Reason Gaming as 5. In fact, they are going to group up, and it's almost as if they might be interested in making a push towards the middle right here, and even going into the base. You got, in the meantime, Shiver, of course, infested by Parasite. That's not something we really talk too much about, but as you see right there, again, the classic Parasite Tundra combination and the power of it being shown right there. So Tank of Fed trying to find an open opportunity here, to perhaps look for a jump or just simply for that vision as the Shiver actually wears off. So nothing to be had. The armor being passed around by Keeper of the Force in the meantime, and here comes that push into the base. Elemental's kind of leading the way. Look at the flank position, though, from BMG. Reason Gaming has no clue right now. Bubbles, oh man, somebody's going to walk up here, you feel. As Doctor says, screw it, I'm going to go in right here. Bubbles going to be locked in initially. Right off the bat, will they go down? No, take cover, finally goes down. Magnus in the background, he could not portal key though. He got his ultimate off, but by the time he gets there, Tempest ultimate is used. It's canceled immediately though, protecting Melody. A good duration, he goes down, but look at Moon Queen just standing his ground, pounding out the right-click auto attacks and doing plenty of damage, but now he's in trouble. Dr. Pulsar out of mana for the time being. Will that be the difference maker? Barely gets away with that Energizer use. The Keeper of the Force also gonna jet on out of there. So kind of a funky back and forth fight right there between these two teams. As you see, obviously, BMG is gonna fall back right there, as is Reason Gaming, but man, oh man, I don't know who came out on top. I mean, Moon Queen did survive in the end.
I think BMG still got to come out ahead though because they actually took a 2-3 trade, and at the same time, I really do like what they did. That they actually took a team fight over here. I can't ping, but you saw it. They was up on the hill instead of actually in their base, and at first glance, it doesn't make sense. Why would they want to take a team fight outside the base? But it stops any kind of damage being taken down onto the tier 3. What they took, maybe 50 damage onto the tier 3 tower there. And, I mean, with a strong pushing team with Reason Gaming, every little bit of HP on your towers counts. So taking the team fight before the tier 3 takes damage is definitely going to be useful in terms of the future sort of stage of the game. And looks like they're going to actually rotate into Kongo now. If they can take this, get it on Doctor, this will be a big factor, actually.
Yeah. You see Kongo again starting to drop here off the bat. You got Rhapsody giving them some pretty good vision as far as what's going on and what to expect possibly incoming. So, and here comes Parasite to join the party as well. Look at Parasite, man. Soul's Bulwark, and it looks like Tank of Fed even working towards a full Shrunken Head right here. So, obviously, looking pretty good as far as progression. Yeah, Abyssal Skull seems
he needs I talked about it before, actually, when I saw BMG. I think Tank of Fed actually prefers to pick up the Soul's Bulwark instead of the Abyssal Skull, which is arguably actually a missed pickup because actually the Abyssal Skull gives you more armor for the team, as well as obviously the lifesteal and the mana regeneration, and as well as the any kind of other benefits as well. And obviously the Soul's Bulwark is only really useful for the armor on yourself, but you're not really going to be tanking as a Parasite. So in terms of a team fight, the Abyssal Skull is actually the better item, and actually no one's got it either. So him picking up a Shrunken Head is probably maybe a little bit of a bad decision as well. Obviously he needs it to get out of Tempest, and obviously the Keeper ult, and he needs to make sure he shuts down the Tempest armor, but I think someone needs to pick up an Abyssal Skull here for BMG.
Yeah. Well, for the time being, obviously not happening, so we'll see if that eventually comes out. But Dr. Repulsor having that token alive, 27 minutes in right here. Again, very, very good news for this Hellborn team. As you talk about token alive hero and, some of the best ones out there, Doctor is obviously one of the top heroes when it comes down to having a token alive because of his recovery and how he just so quickly can be a very big use once again as soon as you resurrect. So no matter the cooldown situation. So yeah, again, very good news there for Bad Monkey Gaming. You look at Moonquid, his progress, of course, going to continue to keep an eye on that. And my boy, as he usually does, continuing to do very well with that farm. 523 gold per minute, does remain on top, just above Dr. Repulsion. And in fact, actually purchases the Geometer's Bane right there in full on top of it all. So you got the Geometer's Bane coming out for him now. And actually, you see the stacking of the Ancients happening. In the meantime, going to continue to progress that farm. So Bubbles does have his Portal Key here. With that said, again, he went the Alchemist Bones. Fadeable still, I think, as far as if that is the most efficient, but gets the Portal Key follow-up. But in the meantime, he's going to be caught right here. Doctor flies in from the side, and down goes Bubbles. So look at Doctor, even has the regen rune to assist right here. So that's how he's not going to keep using it, though. In the end, he'll kind of just let it wear off. But yeah, Bubbles dead now for 48 seconds and counting. BMG might actually make a little... No, they're not going to go for it. I mean, he does have buyback, but...
Yeah, I think that's like a tier 2. I don't think they have the pushing potential to actually push high ground, let alone, I mean, although Bubbles is dead, the 4 heroes on Reason Gaming is still scary enough to push into high ground without kind of good ward vision. So they're probably going to take the tier 2, and that's sufficient, really. They're 8,000 experience up now. And now is the part of the game where you see this kind of one style of play from Reason Gaming in terms of the draft. It's kind of lacking. They keep getting picked off, and it's not really down to the sort of the misplays of Reason Gaming. It's because they're kind of a one element or one sort of wavelength kind of team, whereas BMG kind of a lot more elements to their sort of draft here, and they have great pick-off potential with the Doctor Repulsor and Tundra. So expect these games to keep on going, but at the same time, unless BMG really take a 5-on-5 team fight and win it significantly, it's going to be hard for them to really push into the base, because at the moment they're still a little bit on the back foot. They do have the token on Doctor now, which is definitely a big factor, but the fact of the matter remains they're going against Keeper, Tempest, and Moonqueen. So
yeah, that's it's one thing to see a Moonqueen, but yes, I've always said, especially when you go up against a Tempest, I mean, the game's never over either. So yeah, you can never feel too comfortable with where you're at, especially BMG. And not saying that they are either. I mean, they're very experienced players themselves. They know there's still plenty of game left, definitely, at this point. Middle tower is going to be denied. There's several of those coming out from Recent Gaming, so, taking away a little bit of fishing gold there in the end from Bad Monkey Gaming, but still, the tower is dead, and that means the bottom secondary is the last one remaining, and actually that's already below half life even. So, Bad Monkey Gaming cleans that up, and we'll have all outer towers destroyed on either side at that point. And also Sheepstick now is actually in the works here for Doctor, as I believe he still needs a Blessed Ore, but yeah, just around the corner here.
Yeah, that's going to be such a big pick-off, because, I mean, if you see Reason's lineup, the only person who's going to be doing the dishing out the damage is going to be the Moonqueen. After Tempest, Glacius, and Keeper the Forest, and even Bubbles, where once they've blown all their spells, there's nothing else that they can really offer to the team fight. And actually, Doctor's actually flying in.
Yep, he's going to catch Keeper the Force right here. Stomp comes out from the Minotaur as well. Sand in trouble. He gets the root off just in time. Trying to walk away. Not going to happen, though. Parasite with the follow-up gets the kill himself. In the meantime, Tempest ultimate going to be used. It's a good duration. That's not going to be stopped himself. Doctor goes down. The protective out. It was just a little bit too late. That's going to be stopped as Doctor comes back up, though. Shrunken it is used, and he's flying around like the madman that he can be. In the meantime, Keeper of the Force, the only one killed. Rhapsody and Magma's dead on BMG's side. Bad Monkey Gaming needs to be very careful not to overextend this here, and that they are not going to. So numbers-wise, Reason Gaming actually coming out on top. In fact, Tundra's still kind of left behind. He throws out the Storm Spirit, trying to buy time for a Portal Key. It's not going to happen, though. Parasite coming back in, looking to make something happen still. Tempest actually goes down as a result. Parasite's burst is too much to deal with, but now he might be in trouble himself, so definitely going to be coming to the cost, very likely. The hero blocking from Bubbles, will that be enough? Doctor flies back in, and this fight is still continuing. No, he flies over the ledge.
So well played. Like you see, Tank Foot was dead regardless. He had Infest down, and obviously the Puzzle Box was down as well. What BMG just did there is Haxron actually flew in. He still had half of his kind of mana when he flew in. Reason gave him an all-focused Doctor Repulsor because they expected a team fight to happen, and then Parasite kept on running, and Doctor Repulsor just flew back off. So actually really well played there coming out from BMG just to make Parasite survive, because without that, Parasite was definitely going to die. So well played coming out from Haxron and Tank Foot actually joining up there. I like that little kind of join-up play.
Yeah. Middle lane, you got Moon Queen descending of the illusion, so trying to bait out something perhaps, but nothing much going to be coming out of that. But yeah, another crazy fight coming out. Big ultimates used on either side, and it did seem like recent gaming again. Numbers-wise, I mean, I guess with the kill on the Tempest, it ultimately ended up in a 3 versus 3 at the end, so a 2-for-2 exchange. And as you said, well played by BMG. Good team coordination coming out right there. And so Doctor, despite the token being used, he does have a sheep stick now when it's all said and done. So yeah, he didn't have that going into the last fight, so maybe you can question a little bit BMG's thinking right there of getting a little too invested, a little too far pushed up. You know, looking for a fight before that pickup happened, but now he has it, and that's the big deal. In the meantime, Zane being a little sneakier, as I guess the Keeper of the Forest can be throughout the game. In the Hellborn jungle, looking to scout things out, also take away a little bit of the farm. Finds Rhapsody here, but unless he gets help, I don't think any kills going to be happening, especially with that support nearby being that Doctor Repulsor. So yeah, Zane just continued to scout it out and give that information to his team. So now we're at that case for a Moon Queen here. I mean, what he goes from here could definitely be, you know, curious, really. I mean, there's several options. The Assassin trying to Genjiro, the Wing Bow.
He has to get tankier. Like, he can't go Wingo because it's going to get sort of nullified from the sheep stick anyway. So that kind of evasion might make a big difference. And he's still quite squishy as well. And BMG's burst potential is definitely there. They've got, obviously, the Tundra, Magnus Parasite, as well as the Doctor Repulsor. So he needs to beef up. I mean, similar Rage is one pickup, even Behemoth. So I know it sounds a little bit strange, but it will definitely work to sort of beef him up if he wants to sort of survive in this team fight. Because the sustainability here from Reason is quite low outside of Moon Queen. Because, like I said before, once Tempest, Keeper, and sort of Glacier, as well as Bubbles, blow their ultimates, Moon Queen is the only person that's going to really be useful in the team fight outside of, you know, the 10 and 15 second mark. So if BMG can sort of delay the team fight after those ultimates are used, then BMG are going to definitely take that team fight from then on. And for sustainability sort of sake, Moon Queen will need to sort of survive to make sure that he's dishing out the damage. So a similar Rage or Behemoth would probably be the best choice in my opinion.
All right, well, he has 3,100 gold saved up right now, so we're going to see what kind of idea Emma Boy's thinking here as far as that item progress is concerned. You do look at the buyback situation. No buybacks have been used yet. A little almost surprising there, perhaps, as we are 34.5 minutes in. It's been some good team fights going on, but no buybacks to be had and not necessary in the end. You know, as far as base pushing goes, I guess not a whole lot has happened just yet. There's the Dancing Blade pickup. So you're saying to yourself, you're not a huge fan of that, especially with that Sheepstick pickup. Not going to be the most effective with the evasion, but that's very likely going to be a wing bust. Bubbles actually takes out the Shiver, but the bad thing is Parasite was inside it. Here comes Keeper of the Forest, though. We're in time. The Astrolabe Peel as well. Bubbles going to survive. The Tempest on him, locks him down. Parasite's going to fall right here. Magnus trying to get away now. He has the shrunken head up that he just got. The stun is going to be used as well if need be. Yeah, he should be fine in the end, or will he? Kelfield comes out. Bubbles still wants to make this chase happen. His team may not feel the same, though. Hacks her head. Flies in with the ludicrous speed, and Bubbles all of a sudden is dead. So
yeah, fight.
Yeah, the communication is a little off right here, man.
Keeper and Tempest don't have ultimates. They should fight.
You see, they kind of want to. Rhapsody kind of wants to, but actually he's by himself over here, and he gets caught out. Man, the communication on both sides, it just seems like a little off.
A little bit off. Yeah, definitely. I think BMG should sort of try and regen up and then take a team fight. Keeper and Tempest almost are down. That's almost all of the team fight from Reason Gaming. Yeah, they have the Moon Queen potential. Just Sheepsticker and Killer straight away. They're going back in, though.
Yeah, Doctor aren't trying to, but no. That's going to be that. And now he's out of mana, so, of course, has to wait to get that mana pulled back up. If his mana regen on the Sheepstick helps with that. But, yeah, the decision-making there, Bubbles, obviously trying to really overextend, kind of backfire. But you're right. I mean, both with Tempest and Keeper ultis being down, that was a good chance for perhaps BMG to make an opening or take advantage of an opening, but they just couldn't / didn't want to at that time. So look at Barbed Armor picked up by Tundra, actually. Kind of, as well as the start, I don't even know if we really mentioned that. We saw it used earlier, but he's going kind of a funky build here. Utility and I guess in a sense, you know, Portal Key for that initiation, you know, always makes sense, but the Storm Spirit into the Barbed Armor here. I guess as far as other options.
It's useful though. Like, I mean, I think kind of the strategy from BMG is just try and kill Moon Queen, try and lock her down. And obviously, the multi-strike's going to be coming out, and it's always going to be bouncing on heroes. So picking up a Barbed Armor on Tundra isn't too bad because he can at least dish out even more damage to Moon Queen because Moon Queen's going to be hitting everything. So in that respect, if they just want to kill Moon Queen, actually the Barbed Armor pickup from Tundra is just useful because he's always going to get hit by Moon Queen, whether he's being targeted by a Moon Queen or not. So in that respect, I do like the pickup, and the Storm Spirit is just useful in terms of any kind of defensive purposes. For example, like say if Tempest catches Dr. Repulsor, he needs to sort of just, you know, Storm Spirit Dr. Repulsor in that respect. And like I said, we talked about Moon Queen being kind of all the damage for BMG. It's a little bit similar actually with Reason with Moon Queen, and obviously BMG with Dot Propulsor as well. So the defensive items is definitely useful. But there's the Wingbow pick up from Moon Queen, and I just think it's a little bit risky, honestly. Like, if she dies, obviously now, she doesn't have a buyback. At the same time, she can easily be bursted down. But here comes the team fight.
Yeah, going to be coming in right here. Congo is very low, but here we go. Mavis Eruption comes in, actually. Clutch is going to fall. Down goes Tempest. What a jump coming out from Bad Monkey Gaming. Reason Gaming was just kind of poking in, seeing what was up, and that completely went in BMG's favor in the end. So Congo's dead, and here comes a push.
Moon Queen was in the jungle while they were in Congo. Like, that is clear miscommunication. Maybe they DC'd or something, but Moon Queen was like farming in the jungle and sort of the bottom lane, whilst the rest of the team were in the Congo pit. Well, 5 of BMG were in the Congo pit. Like, that just simply can't happen.
Yeah.
Like, now they've got no buyback on any of the heroes, and this could be Rax, if not game, honestly.
Yeah.
That was a massive turn from BMG.
Absolutely. I mean, Moon Queen, again, go back to always a threat, especially the farm that he has, but this is definitely going to be tower. Very likely Rax at this point. I mean, keep the force up. Tempest obviously up in 25 seconds. Doesn't have that buyback, though. Will have an ultimate, but, I don't know if it's going to be in time to save the Rax. It doesn't look like it. It's already dropped pretty quickly. You got Moon Queen kind of poking in, doesn't want to go too far, but is going to go in. Actually, sheeps the Q's on a Glacius, and Moon Queen has free reign now. Protective Melody in the background, though. Can't stop that for the time being. That's going to be a full duration, and instead, Rhapsody's going to fall to 4 auto attacks right there. They do lose the melee Rax when it's all said and done, though. So, again, BMG, that's a very little sacrifice to get a very, very big reward in the end. But, yeah, that really does go back to Reason Gaming and what they were ultimately thinking right there with Moon Queen not really being there. And if we're a team that's just been scrimming so much,
yeah,
I mean, it's the first round,
man.
It's a new cycle, so, maybe kind of getting antsy with that, I guess. But you would think that the communication would be a little better.
Oh, I definitely agree. I was just about to bring that point up, actually. But, yeah, I'm just a little bit surprised. I mean, I can understand maybe if they're like a 1 second or 2 second behind. That can be understandable. Maybe not understandable for a top team, but like maybe like a Zinc. But being like 10, 20 seconds behind in terms of the team fight, then that is inexcusable, regardless of what kind of bracket you're in. Really, like if you're going to take a team fight, you have to make sure every single person on your team is there. And Moon Queen was nowhere near. So BMG just took the team fight 3v5 and won single-handedly in that respect. And now now Reason Gaming, they're so far behind. And yeah, they have great teamfight potential, but being this far behind in terms of golden experience, it just doesn't seem as deadly and as dangerous.
Yeah. So you see the top lane again. All 5 are up here for Reason Gaming, but now going to start falling back. Restoration Stone, I believe I just saw picked up by Keeper of the Forest right there. So as usual, that is a very, very big pickup. Trying to cancel out the shrunken head uses perhaps with that second ultimate, of course, to be had. But how about this, Dr. Pulse? Yeah, going the Savage Mace route, so getting that right-click threat. Obviously, you got the Wingbow here on Moon Queen, so Savage Mace, always a pretty good counter to that. Not your usual pickup on a Doctor, but at the same time, these late-game Doctor Repulsors, it's not like this is something we've unseen. I mean, or it has been unseen, I should say. We definitely have seen this before is what I'm getting at, of course. Double damage and picked up by Doctor in the meantime, too, so holy crap. Yeah, if you're Reason, I don't know if you want to be fighting right now. Magnus wants to make a fight happen, but doesn't look like he's going to be able to catch anybody for the time being. They're fully retreated. But, yeah, they got a double root. They have a Tempest. I mean, everything is up here for Reason Gaming. So, at the same time, if you're BMG, especially going uphill here, you do not want to overextend and run into these big ultimates of Reason Gaming here. So, we'll see what kind of decision-making they make here.
I mean, they don't really have to force this. They've got Hellborn advantage. They've even got the middle racks down as well. So, if they want to sort of, suffocate Reason Gaming in terms of picking up the base, they can. I mean, the wards actually are a little bit defensive here coming up from BMG. Kind of surprising, seeing as they do have the Rax middle lane and the Hellborn, so they do have that Hellborn advantage. I'd like to sort of see them have kind of like a line of wards just to keep Reason in their base, and they could just out-farm and sort of suffocate them before Reason Gaming or 20, 30,000 go behind. Maybe wait for Congo to be up, and that would be to play it safe. But maybe BMG just sort of want to finish the game now, and they feel that they're ahead.
Yeah. So you push bottom lane, Parasite in the heavy ballista here. Kind of leading the way with that, of course, Doctor. Jeez, the damage coming out. It actually drops about a third of his life right there. Again, he has the token, though, so why he's playing a little more willy-nilly here. In fact, going to kind of go in, maybe bait something out. Nothing really too much, though. And in the end, just a little bit of poke damage. Not the biggest, however, the defensive tower is taking some good damage here in the meantime. So, yeah, they're just going to play this pretty patient here, it looks like, as BMG. As you said, though, you don't necessarily think they need to really go all in here. They're definitely in a good spot. Got one more creep wave worth of a token of life, so They're going to try to maybe get this tower kill, and we'll see where they go from there. But, you know, if you're a recent game and if you hold on for another 30 seconds, you could definitely... Is that another double Oh, that's the Ion Stone. I was like, holy crap. Another one of those? But that's the Ion Stone, man. I mean, I guess it's not a full double damage by any means, but still.
Still useful, though.
Increased damage in the end, yeah, 30% it looked like, so that's something. Tokens wearing off in 8 seconds, though, so yeah, I would think BMG is probably going to fall back right here. As they do. So, Reason Gaming, at least enough of a hold. Hey, they don't even lose the tower. That's pretty good news in the end. Able to hold that off. And now Moon Queen, I mean, we talked about before he got the winged bow, possibly getting that tanky item, more so the similar rage, something like that. Now he has another 4,000 gold. We're probably going to see the symbol coming out next.
Oh yeah, it has to be. There's no kind of other item that he could really go unless he wants to go super greedy and go like Conjuro. But that I just don't think that's going to happen. Like he's got one sort of space open if he obviously wants to keep the TP, and that has to be through the Whispering Helm and similar rage. But I mean, just going back to sort of this game as well, like Haxrin has just had like a sick game because he hasn't really been endangered. Like he's got no way they can really lock him down unless they really catch him in terms of a Tempest Ultimate. But even then, they've got the Storm Spirit from Tundra. They've got obviously the Rhapsody ulti, and at the moment he could just have complete free reign. But here comes Reese going to try to do something kind of sneaky. Actually, I don't know what they're hoping to get. Maybe try and get a pick off, but I mean they're going all in.
Yeah, they're going all in the top lane. Doctor's like, hello, boys. Keeper the forest. Storm Spirit comes out, trying to save him. Again, he has double root, but he can't even get a single one off. He's just too much damage coming out from the Doctor Repulsor. Bubbles goes down. Moon Queen finally pops that Moon Finale of hers, trying to get some counter kills. Hattrick already coming out for Haxrin, though. Pounding in the auto attacks. Rhapsody will fall. Has the protective melody up, though. It's just Moon Queen. Can he somehow maybe work this out? Geometer's Bane pop. Trying to stay alive. It's not going to happen, though. A freaking annihilation comes out for Haxrin. Playing the Doctor Repulsor. Reason Gaming thought they had a chance. They had no chance, says Bad Monkey Gaming. Wow, what aggressive play from Doctor, man.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like Doctor can play that aggressive and that far up against Reason Gaming because he's not afraid of anything that Reason have to throw against him. Tempest doesn't have a portal key, so in that respect, he can't get instantly sort of locked down. If Keeper portal keys in and roots, he can just easily strong ahead and then go from there. And with this kind of all-in sort of strategy from Reason Gaming, I mean, Dr. Repulsor is just kind of the perfect pickup here because he can farm easily, he's not in danger of anything, and he can just, you know, go as manly as he wants to. He's 13-0-5, just hasn't been touched at all and not addressed, and I mean, Reason Gaming are definitely sort of kicking their heels because of that. Yeah.
You do see bottom lane, I mean, kind of poking in back and forth, and going to be enough to, again, defend ultimately the racks down here. Obviously, the tower going down, but wow. I mean, Haxrin just playing aggressively. He knows he can, as he pointed out, and definitely took advantage of that. We saw his damage. In fact, he's going in west again right here. Bubbles, look at how fast he drops. That is just freaking ridiculous. Moon Queen in the meantime, he's going 1-up versus 1 versus Doctor. Here comes Keeper the Forest, so Doctor does not have a shrunken head up. He's being locked down. Actually, Haxrin getting a little too confident, and he will fall when it's all said and done. Parasite in the meantime, he's holding his ground. A full freaking demonic breastplate, has a shrunken head. He's going to fall back. Tundra now joins the party as well. Keeper the Forest. Does he have a second Russo? No, he already used it, actually. Moon Queen splits up, and now Parasite dropping pretty low. Magnus comes back up with the eruption, though. Is it going to be enough? Yes, it is. It takes out Moon Queen. She does have a buyback, though, if she feels like using it, as Tempest also gets picked off. There we go with the buyback, as guess what? Doctor's back as well. As he just flew back with that ultimate.
He literally flew back from like the middle lane. He used all of his mana. It's pretty funny. But yeah, so he actually did fall in the end. But that's because he actually used Shrunken Head maybe a little bit too early. But maybe he just didn't want to get initiated when he did go on to Balbus. But not the biggest of deals. And they've got 2 lanes of racks now. And for Reason, I mean, there's no way they're really going to come back from this. I mean, yeah, they do have the Moon Queen, but they just have no mobility in terms of their heroes. They can't really split push. There's no way they can really catch heroes outside of a big team fight. And even if they do, I mean, BMG still have, like, you know, the Magnus and the Parasite and Tundra that still do a lot of damage. Even after Doctor died, they did sort of end up killing Moon Queen as well. So it's not even just the Doctor Repulsor they have to worry about. And with 2 lanes of racks down breaky, I mean, I think it's game over.
46 minutes in, I mean, we knew this Reason Gaming lineup was a lot about how the early game went for them. And again, it proved to be a pretty even game earlier on, but it just doesn't seem like Reason Gaming was doing enough as far as their team fight potential. And sure, they still have a farmed Moon Queen who is getting close to finishing that symbol of rage now. But we've seen the potential as Dr. Repulsor. He's going to have another big item coming out here, another 5,000 gold nearly saved up, and that's after the buyback that he just used. But outside of him, I mean, Tundra's also got a Frosted Skull in the works. You got Parasite with that, not your everyday build, but the freaking puzzle box into a Shrunken Head into Demonic Breastplate. Hell, he has another 4,200 gold saved up, so he could continue to be a hard-hitting hero. Even something like a Brutalizer would be fun to see on him at this point, I think, with especially with that Demonic. But anyways, point being, it's across the board now that's really starting to shine here for BMG. Now, but again, with that said, really, one wombo combo comes out from Reason Gaming. They have the double root. They get a big Tempest Ultimate. Moon Queen cleans it up. Sure, the lead will still be in favor of BMG as far as stat-wise, but Moon Queen is known to be scary at this point. You got to constantly look back at that. So this game, they're not conceding, and that is for good reason, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. I do agree. But at the same time, like even if they do win the team fight, like they can easily get split pushed here by BMG, and I mean I don't think Reason can really push that quickly compared to BMG's sort of mobility and their split fight potential. They're going to take a third Conga, so that's going to be Roshan down giving cheese and obviously the token as well. And I mean, 2 lanes of racks down. Like their strength is going as 5, and if they're going to get split pushed, and seeing as they're 2 lanes of racks down, they can't sort of split push. There's so many things going against Reason here. And, I mean, you sort of get actually quite engaging actually.
Yeah, they're all in right here. Keeping the force. He gets pulled in. The one root came out. The second in now. There's a Tempest Ultimate immediately stopped though by Sime with his avalanche. You see Moon Queen pounding at the auto attack, but it's probably not going to be. Now, Doctor almost fell actually, but he barely gets away. He does fall in the end. Moon Queen is still alive. The Symbol of Rage Shield doing enough. Down goes Parasite, actually, Tundra goes down. Are you kidding me? Did Reason Gaming just win this fight somehow? Moon Queen barely survives. Magnus is alive. Magnus wants that kill. I don't know about this. Oh, never mind. Doctor flies back in. As you said, he buys back. That is his final buyback with that said. Moon Queen didn't use hers, though.
Moon Queen doesn't have any buybacks, and Tempest doesn't have a buyback. No one has a buyback. They don't need this Conga. They don't need it.
It took them like
5 seconds. I guess, but I mean, like if they take top racks, that's game. But I guess they're gonna take the token. And to be fair, Doctor also doesn't have buyback either. So in that respect, but yeah, you saw that the team fight was there. But again, they kind of did win the team fight. But you know, Doctor pulled back and it was just over after that.
Well, the fact, too, that Keeper couldn't get off a second root, a pretty big deal there. If he was able to, that could have definitely been completely different. But, yeah, the buyback of Doctor, just when he thought there was hope for Reason Gaming, and somehow Imba Boy stood his ground. I mean, we say somehow, but that's what Moon Queen does, especially with his farm. But then all of a sudden, Doctor flies in and finishes the job. So the Pew Pew is real. He's now at the top tower. He's got that token, as you mentioned. He doesn't have a buyback, so obviously needs to be careful. In fact, he pops a Shrunken Head. So he's a little bit scared right there. Now, if he dies, he won't have a Shrunken Head as he comes up, of course. So, yeah, he needs to be very careful here as they do push on the tower, and that'll be that. So, again, I don't think Reason's going to give up by any means just yet, but obviously BMG even extends their lead a little further. But Doctor is out of buybacks. So when the main carry hero on the other side is out of buybacks, there's definitely always a chance still as well. So it keeps being a case of Reason barely has enough here. He does have token for the time being, sure, but that's going to be 345 remaining on it. So,
and there's the portal key from Tempest. So if they do somehow, if they are going to try and lock down this Doctor Repulsor, it is going to be just through a black hole straight onto on Doctor Repulsor's head, and there's nothing that we can do. Like regardless of how quick his fingers are, I don't think he's going to be able to get out of an elemental Ro8 from Tempest. So in that respect, I mean, I'm not saying Reason have a chance to get back in this game, but I mean, they definitely have the tools available to allow them to do so.
Now, what is Moon Queen going, you think? He gets a broadsword here. Is that going to be Rift Shards or?
No, it's going to be Conjuro, isn't it?
Conjuro.
He has to pick Assassin's Shroud first, and
or
that's
barbed armor.
Nah, it's gonna be Assassin's Shroud. Like he needs the broadsword for the Assassin's Shroud, and then obviously the Conjurer after that. Yeah. Oh, Doctor goes in.
Jumped on Moon Queen. Sword Spirit comes out. The Sheep Stick obviously gonna wear off after that. Keeper the Force Spirit comes in. Another Sheep Stick on a Moon Queen, but Doctor Pulsar is locked after the timing. Second room comes out. Now Doctor's in trouble all of a sudden. Then in the background, Magnus comes in with the eruption, but they're shrinking at Moon Queen. Doing enough. Down goes Doctor Pulsar, but again he has a token. He's gonna come right back up, and all of a sudden Moon Queen in trouble. She gets stunned. She couldn't even symbol that whole time. Tempest ultimate. It doesn't matter. It got canceled immediately. GG is finally going to be called as Bad Monkey Gaming does officially break through, and they take game number 1 here in this best out of 3 over Reason Gaming. So 51 minutes in, BMG does break the code here officially. So Reason Gaming, a hell of an effort to stand in there, but you know, at the same time, obviously well played by both sides, especially Bad Monkey Gaming, and ultimately coming out on top. But there were some moments where you were kind of scratching your head a little bit. It's like, what are they thinking here as far as communication goes? So Reason definitely has to look at themselves a little bit, I think, that game, as why they ultimately come out on the losing side there.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I mean, nothing to take away from BMG. They played very, very well. They kind of knew the strategy they had in mind. They had to really kind of delay, sort of miss the timing from Reason game and sort of almost take it late. I mean, Moon Queen did show her prowess into the late game, but in the end, BMG just had too much farm, and you know, the supporting team from BMG just almost felt like they offered a lot more than Reason game. And in that game, yeah, they did have the Tempest and the Keeper ultimate. But it was really just kind of the Moon Queen that was kind of really the shining factor. With BMG, everyone of on their team really added something to the team fight, added something to the game, and some of that Reason just didn't feel that they did really. So I'm looking forward to game 2 though, and I'm assuming we're going to see something different from Reason in game 2 as well.
Absolutely, and definitely as expected, definitely turning out to be a pretty solid series so far. Kind of game number 1 in the books. BMG takes it, but Reason Gaming again, they're doing a lot of practicing, especially this last week, getting prepared for cycle number 4. They're ready to play. But BMG, so are they, as they showed there in that first game. You know, get a third-place finish